I'm Tony with Earth House Earth History, and this is a size comparison chart with Mercury next to Earth. Now, Mercury is a little bit larger than our moon, so that's how small it is. So now when we go down the surface to look at these three major artifacts, you'll have some type of idea how huge these artifacts are. This next image is an image that you're going to normally see, or the public's going to normally see, and you notice it's kind of smooth and it doesn't have much detail in it. And these yellow spots, these areas here, this is where the scientists say there's frozen water or ice that is in this North Polar region. But I'm going to actually prove to you that it's not ice, but it is glass. And we're going to take a really good look at these structures because I was able to find a really clean photograph that hasn't been altered very much. And we're going to be able to see these megalithic structures. So we're going to go to the better image, and then we're going to do some close-ups of it. You can already notice that in this so-called crater area that there's a lot more detail. In this area, it's not as soft looking. It's not great, but enough to look at these artifacts. So I'm going to go ahead and start magnifying them. I'm going to go one more magnification. As you notice, it's a triangle shape with rounded ends. Of course, it's not perfect after the millions of years of deterioration, but the shape is still there. To give you a scale or a size, this triangle area is the size of Texas. So that tells you how large, gigantic these structures are. This looks like a crater, but it's not. You can tell because it's got a perfect 360 degrees and it overhangs this drop here into this basin area. And in a little bit, when I enhance this, you're going to see a cross inside of it, which I believe was part of a structure that helped cover it at one time and then it fell into it. So this structure alone could handle several major cities. Now notice, at first you probably didn't notice this, but now you can tell that it's not a crater. It's some type of gigantic structure that apparently was sitting straight up. The end here matches this, so it looks like it was sitting up here, and then over time, while it was deteriorating, it fell over. This structure was megalithic, considering it's probably the size of a small state. And then you have an entranceway, I guess, into the underground cities. Here's a doorway. And this doorway, of course, is the size of a small state also. And then there's debris down in here where you can tell it has geometric shapes to it that has collapsed. You can tell where this one has broken away. And there's also a structure right here, and we're fixing to look at that. I'm going to make some adjustments. And you can tell that this structure is very similar to this one here. I'm going to take this image, I'm going to make some adjustments and highlight it. Now you can see there's a cross that appears in this structure here. Here's the tower of this megastructure here also. Here's another type of megastructure. And then, once you notice one thing right here at the top, this highlight brought out quite a bit of detail. What we originally thought was a tank appears to be some type of structures. They kind of look like blocks, and then it looks like this one slid over partially off of it. So because of the highlight, we can actually see some of the details to show that sometimes what we think it is even though it's a structure, it may be not exactly what it looks like. Now I'm going to take us back to a black and white of the North Polar region and how the Anunnaki built, and this is consistent with all my research. They built a glass canopy over their areas of the cities and facilities which were grouped together. And then over the whole area they would build a glass canopy. And this is consistent of every research I've ever done of these artifacts in this solar system. The areas that look like ice that's highly reflective is nothing but glass that has deteriorated and is not completely covered up with dust or space debris. So you know these bright spots that they showed us? This is glass. Okay, we're going to go to these next two images, and this is an image that's colorized by NASA. And here's the first shot they did, and then here's where they colorized it. We're going to go from the North Polar region down to this megalithic tower right here. And I did different shots of color so we can see the different shapes and depth. As you look at the bottom here, you notice there's a square platform that this tower is sitting on. These bright spots here, a lot of these bright spots are from the glass canopy that covered this. That's what this debris is hanging off of this tower. And it looks like the tower goes here, but if you follow it down, it goes really deep beneath that glass canopy. Then in this black and white, you can see the depth, how it does go below this glass canopy, and that there's some type of foundation that it's coming off of, that it's built on. Then I changed the color again. These extremely bright spots, these are different structures that are built out of glass. And then you can see inside this one, there's no telling what it is, but whatever it is, it's pretty bright. Then in this other black and white, you can see the depth of the structure here and how this glass canopy covers it. So now we're going to go to the third structure, which is right here. And you can already tell that it's got a geometric shape to it. So let's take a look. Before we go down to the surface of that color image, we're going to take a look at these three images that the public normally sees. And you can see where this image has been smoothed out, and there's really no indication that there was a structure was there. And then here's a close-up, and again, there's no indication that there was a structure here, except for some of the glass that's shining through in these different areas from some of the glass structures, the glass dome or the glass canopies that's left. In this third image, this came from a different file location, and it really doesn't show a structure very well unless you look at it really closely. It doesn't have a lot of definition to it, but you can definitely tell where all the glass is at in this area. Okay, now we're going to go back to the color image, and we're finally going to get to this area on this image. So let's take a look now. As you notice, it's deteriorated here and it's tilted this way. There's also a wall here. Apparently it was on top of it, and then as it's deteriorating there, it just fell apart and fell down. And you begin to notice there's like loops through here. So I changed the color and the darkness. Here's that wall again. Now you can really tell that this thing is tilted in this direction. You can see the loops. We're going to go get just a little bit closer. It's starting to pixelate. Now you can really see the loops here. And you see some of the, looks like glass canopy that's collapsed is over the top of it a little bit. I'm going to take it a little bit closer to take a look at these loops. And of course, they're not going to be real clear, but you can definitely tell that there's some type of gigantic structures that are evenly spaced apart right through here. And they're about 1 mile to 2 miles tall on average. You can't see them real well, but it looks like it's got some kind of support system or something that goes through the center here. Unfortunately, because this image wasn't that great, wasn't able to get this image real clear, but it definitely shows the structures. Okay, everyone, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. This is Tony with Earth Files, Earth History, signing out.